Our guest today is Tara. Tara's main goal is to live a life without regrets, rather concentrate on her authentic self than social expectations. After the sudden loss of her husband, she started to help others as a coach to live a life with no regrets. Tara, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us today. I am Zsofia of Myprocesses, and I help busy entrepreneurs to automate and outsource their time-consuming tasks without sacrificing the profit. So if you are looking to make the 4-hour work week a reality, or simply avoid burnout, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell to be notified when I release a new video like this. Tara, you started a business on the ground of a massive trauma, the loss of your husband. How did you find the strength for that? It's incredible.
Um, I think just kind of like you said in the introduction, it was a whirlwind when he was sick. And one of probably the most impactful things was he had a dream that he wanted to train dogs. And literally on his deathbed, he said he regretted that he didn't follow that. And so that really stuck with me. And I knew when I was doing social work, I knew that I wanted to do more and I wanted to help people at a deeper level. And I knew that I could do more, but I just kind of got, like most of us, got comfortable and was okay with my job, and I liked it and it was satisfying. But there was always that part that knew I could do more, and I wanted to do more. I wanted to work with people at a deeper level. And so when he said that, that just really hit home to me. And I thought, what am I waiting for? I didn't want to be like that. I didn't want to be at the end of my life going, I wish I would have. And so that was kind of my motivation, I guess, is the the best word for it.
And was it only the business, or were there other things in the list you started to pursue?
It mainly was the business because my career was such a big part of my life. As for many people, their careers they identify as their careers. I know in our culture, the first question you ask somebody is, what do you do? And so people identify as their careers. So that was kind of the main goal. But starting the business became my own personal journey into myself. And it really is a birthing process. Um, it's a huge personal growth opportunity when you step outside of what you know and you step outside that comfort zone. You have to kind of recreate a new foundation for yourself. And so it wasn't the goal at the beginning. It was just to start the business. But that took me on a whole personal journey that was life-changing, really.
And you mentioned on your website that most of your clients are also approaching you because of a certain trauma. They pursue something they don't want to regret. Do you have examples? So yes, can be business, but is there anything else on a personal level you experience from your clients that they really want to do and they really find the strength from it to do?
I think, like it says, I work with people that I call the 5Ds. So been downsized, so let go from a position, dumped in a relationship, divorced, diagnosed with a disease or death like I went through. And I think for most of us, like I experienced, we get comfortable in our life. And even though things may not be great, we may not have the perfect relationship or the perfect job, we just kind of settle because it's easy, because it's comfortable, it's because it's what we know. And outside of our comfort zone is scary because it's unknown. And so I think lots of times people want to make changes, but don't do it until they're kind of forced to by one of those big things that they kind of go through. And then the trauma, because you're already kind of all shooken up, the trauma kind of gives you that, okay, now I can recreate something, and something that I like, and something that I love, rather than just, yeah, it's okay, it'll be okay. I think too many people settle in life.
That's so true. I also experienced that if the situation is acceptable, then that's the most dangerous, because if it's not acceptable anymore, then you are forced to move, you're forced to go and change it. But if you are just okay, then you can stay okay for years and years in your life, and it's just passing away.
Yeah, and you kind of lie to yourself and you're like, oh no, that's okay. You know, you have a bad day at work or a bad couple of weeks, or, you know, things kind of, you hear that intuition and that little voice inside saying, oh no, you should be doing this. And you're like, no, I'm okay. I'm safe. I'm comfortable. I'm just going to stay. And I think it takes most people something really big to kind of shake them up before they're willing to kind of look at things. But then when that happens, then you realize that you weren't that happy actually after all. You were just kind of settling, surviving in life, I guess.
And how do you differentiate between being actually happy and settling? Because in my experience, maybe I'm on completely wrong side, but nothing is so. There's no situation when everything is perfect. So it's not like that. Even if something goes bad and there's something that I have some minus, and I would guess it's normal. But how do you find a balance? So when you are actually happy and not just settling down.
I think for me, it's that authenticity. If you're doing things because you truly want to do them, not because you have to or it's the right thing to do, it's really tuning into that voice in your head. If it's a should do or a need to do, then it's not coming from truth and it's not
Mm-hmm.
something that you want to do. So that's kind of the difference. And I know that I kind of use that as a, I don't know, scale for me. Is this something I want to do or is this something I feel I need to do or should do? Because should and need are tied to beliefs about like you have to do something to be a good girl or you have to do something to be a good mom or a good wife or whatever. um, I want to is you want to do it because it brings you joy. And so for me, that's how I can tell is it's authentic if I want to do it. It's if it's a should do or need to do or have to do, then it's not coming from truth for me. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does, and it sounds really true. So if I really want to do something and it brings me joy, then this is the place where I can be happy.
Yeah.
And what brings you joy in your business?
I love working with people. There is um, such a sense of joy when people have those aha moments, when they start tuning into that inner wisdom. My favorite comment from a client is when they say something, and I'm like, because a lot of times my coaching is just repeating back kind of the wisdom that comes out of them, because that's really my job as the coach. You have and you know what's absolutely right for you. It's just kind of lost in all that mind chatter. And so when a client says something and they kind of stop and go, did I say that? And I'm like, yeah, you did. And that's them being able to tune into that wisdom. And once they do, then they start making those choices and they start living that life of I want to do rather than I have to do. And I
So
find that huge.
it's a joy to work with clients, but there are so many other things to do when you are run a business, and let's be honest, part of it are not really wants to do and not really pure joy, like taxes, let's say.
Yeah.
So many things to do. How do you stay effective?
I think it's a mindset thing as well. When I first started out, I was struggling because I was never someone who was on social media very much. But obviously, in today's world, you have to be with a business. And so I was struggling with that a lot because I didn't like posting and it felt it was a have to do. And that went against everything that I was working towards. So I kind of shifted my mindset. And I actually see that now when I post on social media. I see that now as an opportunity to connect with others. And whether or not they're going to be my clients, but it's a way to connect. So
Mhm.
I take it a little bit differently now than I used to at the beginning, for sure.
So you needed a new mindset for social media to use it efficiently, because it's
Definitely.
more about connecting with people. That's what you say. And
Hmm.
do you manage to connect with people? So do you find the joy you wanted to find in it?
I do, yeah. I get quite often, like I'll get comments on my posts, needed that today, or um, yeah, I think this message is for me today. So
Hmm.
there's definitely that connection piece, and that's kind of why I do what I do. And so again, whether or not they're clients, if I'm connecting with them and it made a difference, then that's important to me.
You had this sudden change to grow from being an employee to become a business owner. What did your family, your friends think about that?
I have really supportive family and friends. Um, and a lot of it because it came fairly soon after my husband passed.
Hmm.
They were very supportive through the grieving process too. But it was just, I never really had anybody who doubted me, which was lovely. Um, I doubted myself, of course, but that's just that natural, that's that growth process. Um, but yeah, I had really supportive people.
That's good to hear.
I do find though, um, when starting a business that I think a lot of people when they start, they're like, oh, well, I'll just send out stuff to my friends and they'll send it out to everyone. It's not quite as easy as that, I found. Although I'm really supported, that my friends don't always, and I can't always ask them to send out to their friends list. So it's really about building it yourself too and finding those connections.
It's so true, actually. I also find it puzzling. So there are a lot of connections, friends, or just good acquaintances who are so willing to share anything which was posted by McDonald's or Pepsi or Kim Kardashian or whatever you name it. And when it comes to actually supporting your friend and just hit the share button or like or just put a comment, then they struggle to do that. Is it maybe because being a business owner is so far from them, or well, I don't know, but that's indeed a thing that
Yeah,
people
I
tend
think
to be less supportive.
I think that's exactly it. I think that they don't understand how much difference that can make for your business. Um, and I don't understand, you probably understand better, but like the social media algorithms, the more people that like your posts, the more people that comment on your posts and things like that. I don't think they realize what a difference that makes for a small business. Um, that even just liking all of the posts or commenting on, not all of them because I post quite often, but just that makes a huge difference, and it gets them promoted more on Facebook and on Instagram and on social media. So it does make a huge difference. So I guess that's a lesson for everybody who's listening is if you have any friends or, like their stuff, comment on it, share it when you can. And because that can make a huge difference for their business for sure.
Yes, it does. So all the things you mentioned, like, share, comment, or save on Instagram algorithm, saving something is worth even more than the rest. So these things are very, very important, and it can really, really boost, especially a new account, to get more visibility. And that's just so important. And not just because the algorithm, it's, I think, for the business person itself. So as a starting as a new founder of a business, you have all your insecurities. Is it gonna work? Will the people like what I do? Am I authentic? Does it even make sense what I am doing? And if you get this constant feedback, even if you're friends, that it's okay and you should keep going, it's so reassuring, right?
Absolutely. And that really ties into one of our core beliefs. We just want to be accepted. And so when you start a business, there's definitely all that self-doubt. There's the imposter syndrome. There's the, am I going to be accepted? Am I going to be liked in a way? And I mean, it kind of sounds like high school, but it's so true. I mean, especially when it's a personal business, you're putting yourself out there. And so there is that fear of rejection for sure. And so you're right. It is so reassuring to have people like and comment, and it keeps you going.
Yeah, imposter syndrome, it's also the very, very, I don't know, basic issue new founders have. Did you deal with that as well?
Oh, yes. I think everybody does,
Oh boy,
especially,
yeah.
well, and especially when you're starting a business, because like I said, and most people who start a business are passionate about what they do. Um, and so it's kind of like a little piece of them. And like I said, a lot of people really identify with their careers. And so it feels very personal. But yeah, the imposter syndrome, I think, comes up for anybody who's starting a business because it's something that's new. It's something that's not the traditional, not probably what most of your friends are doing. And so it takes a lot of courage and bravery to put yourself out there for sure.
True. Yeah, that's true. Do you have any automated process that helps you every day?
I use Hootsuite because I post regularly on all of my social media accounts. So Hootsuite's been great. It allows me to, I take probably about an hour and a half a day and like post for 24 hours worth. So that's been great. Super helpful. If I had to do that, I would be on social media literally all day.
Yeah, marketing automation, it's just a must. So you can't get along without social media. And if you don't automate it, you're gonna just spend your time like the whole work day on social media.
Absolutely. It can completely suck your time.
Okay, you already mentioned to me before our call that you don't really outsource, but may I ask why not? What keeps you
Um,
from outsourcing?
just right now, it's just not really in the budget, and with me still building, and of course, I want that connection too. So I'm just not. Uh, but the more involved I get, the more I can see definitely there are things that are feel like have to do's, and so I could definitely see me outsourcing for that as for in the future.
I will take this knowledge from you that ask the question what you have to do and what you want to do, because I have an outsourcing decision guide helping any business owners, even in early stage, to decide whether a certain task needs to be outsourced. And I listed a lot of questions. I can leave the link below this video. And this is a good question. I think I should include it. That do you want to do it, or just you have to do it? That really
Yeah.
makes a difference.
Well, it does, and it makes a difference to the energy you put into it. Because I know if it's a have to do for me, I have the and I drag my feet, and I don't want to do it, and it's a lot of work, and it's really hard work. And I mean that's the same with like in life too. If you're doing things that you have to do all the time, it feels it's overwhelming, and it feels stressful, and it feels hard. It just feels hard.
Drains your energy. It's just too much
Absolutely.
on you. Mhm.
Yeah.
Good that you mentioned budget, because budget can be a tricky thing. It just depends on what you want someone to do, what the experience level you want for your helper. So if you are brave enough to coach someone to help you more, then you can easily hire someone with a less hourly rate. So there are so many factors to play with if you have someone to help you with the outsourcing. So budget shouldn't keep you away, if I may say.
Absolutely. And I think for me too, uh, I think because my business is so personal for me, I
Mhm,
would really need someone that I connected with.
mhm.
If I was going to outsource, especially if I was going to outsource like my media posting and stuff like that, I would need somebody who got me, who understood me.
Mhm.
And I think that's important because I do get lots of offers for people, to do that. And I haven't really found a lot of people who are really authentic.
Mhm.
They, want to do the typical business stuff. And that's not what my business is. And so I feel like it's an injustice to myself and to my business by getting someone to do just a typical and not tailoring it to my business and my clientele.
Okay, so you need to have a personal connection level, someone who really understands the core of your
I
mission,
think so. Yeah, I think
because it's
so.
not a business, it's a mission behind.
Yeah, well, that's a great way to put it. Yeah, it is. And I think a lot of people who are entrepreneurs, like I said, are doing it because they want to. And so there's that passion behind it. And so I feel like, yeah, they need to have that connection
Mm,
and for them to be understood as well.
okay. Tara, how do you spend your free time, or how do you want to spend your free time? I hope you do it the same way.
I definitely make lots of time. Self-care is one of the most important things. I can't teach it if I don't do it.
Mhm.
So I have the greatest morning routine, which I absolutely love. I go for a walk in nature with my dog. Well, I wake up and I meditate, and then I go for a walk, and then I do a workout, and then I start my day. And that just won't change because that's my self-care time. That's my grounding time. That's my get in the right headspace to do what I need to do for the day. So that is hugely important to me and fun. um, and then I have some great friends and have hobbies and things like that that I like to do.
That sounds really good. And the self-care part, especially because that's what you give to your client as a knowledge. So you practice it in your own life.
Absolutely.
Is there any exciting project you are working on right now?
I am hopefully going to launch in the next month, 7 week, and I haven't completely decided. It was originally going to be a 7 week home study course where you kind of take you through the whole understanding yourself. I'm calling it Awaken, Come Home to Yourself. Um, and so it's 7 weeks, but I love that connection piece, and so sorry, my dog's barking.
That's okay.
um, I I love that connection piece. So I'm thinking I might make it 7 weeks and then do weekly Zoom classes on it as well.
Okay,
So that's going to hopefully be out in the next month.
that's quite a project. Good luck for that. Sounds really,
Thank
really
you.
promising. Okay, so you started a business. You started a business with a very, very hard background. And I believe a lot of people are listening to us who are planning to start a business, thinking about wanting to. What would be your number one advice for them?
This is my number one advice for life is make sure that you like it. Make sure that you're doing it for you. Make sure that you're doing it because it aligns with who you are. Like we talked about, it's hard work when it doesn't. It's hard work when you have to. Um, so if you're going to especially start a business, make sure it's something that aligns to you, something that you'd enjoy, something that lights your fire, I guess, that you're
Make sure
passionate
you
about.
like it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great. Okay, I just look at my business in this regard, and I think I do love it. So I enjoy talking to new entrepreneurs, have these interviews, and looking at their processes and figuring out how to make it more efficiently. So thank you for showing me this mirror.
Well, and I was going to say, because I can see it on your face when you talk about your business and when you talk about what you do, that there's passion there, and that makes a huge difference. So,
Yes, I completely agree, and I hope you guys who are listening to us right now on YouTube or on social media and wonder about starting a business, that you're gonna find the passion and the love you need for it. Thank you so
definitely.
much, Tara, for sharing
Thanks
with
for
us this
having me.
today.
It was a great conversation.